right, here we are, another episode of Frosty Dingy, Caged Dolphin and the Flounder here. Cope, let me ask you a question. I know this is a
Oh,
long-standing
here we go.
I know this is a long-standing conversation that we've had here. Why can Casey's Pizza not fucking get cooked proper?
I still believe it's just your Casey's because our Casey's, with the exception of the one in the middle of town, seems to get it right. I mean, did you do what I told you to and have them push it back into the oven?
No, by the time I got down there, so I go down there, order on the app. It says 35 minutes. I live, 2 minutes away if I walk. I get down there 3 minutes early and they hand me the pizzas out of the warmer. Here's the thing. You keep telling me, oh, you need to tell them they need to push it back in. Ask for extra crispy. You know what? I shouldn't have to tell the best pizza place in Iowa how to cook a fucking pizza.
Well,
And you get these
occasionally
people
you
and
do.
you're about to give me the argument, well, you have to tell a steakhouse how to cook your steak. Yes, but there's different ways to cook a fucking steak. There's different temperatures. But I don't go to a bakery and tell them how to cook fucking donuts. They know that I don't want a raw fucking ball of dough.
Well, some people do though. I'm just saying.
No one
There's
does.
some there are different ways to cook a pizza though. And if every cooker in the Casey's franchise is not set the same.
But raw
And they
dough
got
is
that
not
little
the
section
way.
there on the app, that little section right there in the app where you can put other details in there, where you can just type and don't even have to talk to them, that you would
So
like
I'm just
your pizza
I'm
cooked
just
a little bit longer.
so no, I don't even want it cooked a little bit longer. I just want it fucking cooked right. It shouldn't be raw fucking dough.
So I take it you had another bad Casey's
Oh,
experience. Is that
it's
what you're saying?
yes, just about. I mean, I don't get it. Like it's fucking raw pizza dough. Like the middle is the crust is not done. It's not like it's flimsy. It doesn't hold up because it's not fucking cooked. So do better, Casey's. And while I'm on Casey's, bring in. Let's do it. The chorizo breakfast pizza. I want it. Let's do all of Iowa a favor. I know, it's probably, something that they can't do because I don't know, they don't have a producer to put Casey's name on fucking chorizo, but it's time for a Casey's chorizo breakfast pizza. And it's weird. So like if you go in and you buy the Casey's pizza by the slice out of the warmer, it always does seem to be cooked properly. It's just when I order a fucking pizza that it's undercooked.
Well, that could be part of the problem as well. Is they have the oven set on the temperature where they can cut it into slices and put it in the warmer, and that's how it finishes itself. That's why it's better in the warmer, because the warmer finishes cooking it through. But you should. This is just an option. I'm just throwing it out there to probably to make you mad, but maybe you should start treating your Casey's pizza like a take and bake, where it comes 90% of the way done. You throw it in the oven for a while when you get home, and you finish cooking it yourself.
For what I pay for Casey's pizza, I shouldn't have to treat it as a take and bake. It should be treated as a
No, I
take
get
home
that.
and fucking eat.
Did you leave the lady that's cooking the pizza a tip? Maybe that'd
No,
help.
fuck this. Okay, here we go. Speaking about fucking tips, right? Tip culture, right? I love it. We're getting rid of all the old anger right here, right now.
Well, it's a new year. We gotta finish up 2025, and you were a bit sickly at the end of the year, so
I wanna make sure I state this properly. I probably over tip. If you ever seen My Blue Heaven, it's not tipping I believe in, it's over tipping, but it's for service. I went to fucking Fazoli's the other day where literally, they bring you the food after you order because you take the number because they don't want you standing at the counter, right? And then maybe if you need breadsticks, they bring you breadsticks. That's it. And the tip thing comes up and they're like, how much would you like to tip? 20, 25, or 30? And it's like, what the fuck am I tipping you for? This is bullshit, And I'll admit the other day it happened the same thing at Pizza Ranch also. And it is like, if I'm paying beforehand, I don't think I need to tip. I shouldn't pre-tip. Now, if, it was buffet I went to, and if they do a nice job at cleaning off the table when my plates are done, sure, I'll leave a couple bucks on the table for the person doing it. I have no problem with that. That's service. I'm not going to pre-tip and then maybe get ignored the entire time and have a stack of 7 plates sitting there between me and 3 kids and my wife. Let's do better. And so I saw TikTok and I should have sent it to you, right? And the
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 old
the
TikTok.
argument was yeah. The argument was made that and they were talking to a server and they're like, well, they're portraying probably me. You should be just paid better. Your boss should just pay you more for your service. Pay for your service. And they're like, we would lose money because we make more money from tips. You know what? That's the shits I guess you risk. If you're willing to take less money because you want the tips, there's potential someone's not going to like your service or don't think you did as good enough, or they have different opinions than me and think 10% is a fine tip on a $150 bill. That's the shits of it. That's the risk you're taking. So I don't want to hear that argument anymore. And if I see any more of these goddamn TikToks trying to explain how tipping's easy, you move the decimal place one place to the left and take it times 4, 40%? Are you fucking drunk? Are you a fucking dumbass? You're the people that make me not want to fucking tip, period. And I believe in tipping.
You've got to remember there's also that fact there that if you don't tip enough, they'll blow you up on social media
Yeah, I
and they'll
mean,
just call you out for it.
and you know what? I'm at a point that's fine. Go ahead. You can use my name. If I tip you poorly, go ahead and use my name because I'll get right back on and I'll respond. I'll tell you why I didn't tip well. Me and my wife usually, every weekend. We didn't go this weekend because I'm here right now. And yesterday we went somewhere else, but we go to Legends Cafe in Council Bluffs. It's great. They have like 4 waitresses there, or maybe even 5. I don't know exactly how many, but they just all circle. And there's not a set waitress for your table, and it is the greatest service there is. And I tip the shit out of that place because it's worth it. I feel like we're treated very goddamn well there. I've never had a problem with service there. Never had a problem with food there either. It's spectacular. But I'll tip for good service.
It's
I'll tip
cooked
for
all the
great
way through.
service. Yeah. Fucking A. Oh shit. I had a breakfast burrito there last weekend. Fucking fabulous. Thing was the size of my forearm. But yeah, I don't have a problem with tipping, but if you suck, I'm not going to tip you as well as you think you probably deserve. So you know what? Maybe that's on you. And I know there's people that are cheap asses and pieces of shit. And so I get why maybe you just, you don't know me personally. So maybe I can see why you're offended by it. But maybe look at yourself first before you fucking get mad. Did I do the job? Did I do a good enough job to get the tip that I think I deserve? If you honestly can
See,
say, go ahead.
the problem I run into is I enjoy tipping a good server, but the problem is the service has gone so far down the hill, but the expectations for higher tips has gone through the ceiling. I mean, it's getting out of hand. I mean, they expect a big tip before they even do any service, and if you give them a big tip before they do any service, then your service suffers. I
Yes.
mean, it it's getting carried away.
I'm not going to say service has suffered because there's sometimes that it's great. It's like, shout out to the people that do it right. But you can justify this. You'll admit to this. When we used to go to new bars, the first round we would always overtip. Why? Because then the bartender would remember us, and all of a sudden we weren't usually ignored. You know how you're a guy at a bar and there's 25 women standing around trying to get drinks and 2 guys, you get ignored usually. But if you give the good first tip,
That
solid
tends to
first
happen,
tip,
yeah.
it seems like you get maybe noticed a little bit quicker. And I don't ask to be recognized before people that were there. I believe in waiting my turn, but don't fucking ignore me.
Well, you gotta admit, though, when we started going to bars in the late '90s and early 2000s, the service was a hell of a lot better. I mean, even if you didn't throw that big tip out to begin with, everywhere you went, the servers were on their game. I mean, yeah, they got paid less than what they do now to be a server back then, but they actually took pride in their service and hoped every customer had a great experience. They weren't always working for the solid huge tip and that's all they cared about. They actually cared about serving people. And I think that's
Well,
gone away in that industry quite a bit.
I'd say this. I think the fun has gone out of it. Like, remember the days? Like, it used to be fun to go and work and make drinks and talk to people and bullshit like that. Like, it was fun. We enjoyed our jobs. And I don't think that's as much anymore. I think people are angry they have to work. And so it's, and it's funny. I think the people that do enjoy their jobs, they do a better job. And the people that don't,
and they get higher tips.
yeah, I think it shows. So I'd say, if you want to make more money, especially as a server, do a good job. At least act like you want to be there. Act like you're enjoying meeting me. Oh yeah.
So, I mean, one of the games that you and I used to play, now I know because, I kind of enjoyed this game where we'd go in and sit down at a table and just put a stack of money in front of us at the start and be like, this is your tip. Now, anything that you do that we don't like, we take away from your tip pile. I enjoyed that game. You start out
Yeah.
with $100 sitting out there, and by the time they're done, they could get the $100 or they could get 50. I mean, it put it all on the server, so they knew what they could get, and that usually upped our service a little bit.
Well, looking back at that now, that a dickhead move. We were assholes.
Yeah, yeah, we
Oh,
were,
there.
but
We're like the old guy with the fishing rod on those Geico commercials or whatever they are. Oh, almost
oh,
had
you
it.
gotta be quicker than that. Gotta be quicker than that.
Almost had it. Fuck,
But I mean,
assholes.
we we did it with the servers that found it fun, and it was entertaining for them because it was something they didn't see every day. We weren't actually out to be assholes most of the time. There was a couple times where we just grabbed the stack after about 5 minutes and said, "Yeah, we just want a different server," because this one ain't gonna work.
Like I said, you know, I'm disappointed in where we're at, where people are asking, like I said, Pizza Ranch, I shouldn't, if I'm just, at a buffet, I shouldn't be tipping before I get the bill or before I eat. I don't believe in tipping before I get service. I think that's my issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
and
did
I don't believe in tipping anywhere that I have to stand at a counter and order.
I did a Grubhub the other day at work. I work in, a bigger city.
Yeah,
And, I always typically do 20% tip just because I know most of these fees go to fucking Grubhub and the people doing the job don't, they need the tips, right? Like the Grubhub fee is what Grubhub is getting. Um, and I was kind of mad. Like usually I make sure like I'll do reviews on the drivers and I'll make sure I give 5 stars because it's important, they live off that. I had one the other day, like in my Grubhub thing, it literally says take to the front desk of the office for Wes. And the driver literally brought it into our dock and just left it on top of our gutter coils. Like, I didn't even know it got dropped off. It got left in the warehouse. Like, it says right on the instructions, "Hey, take it inside to Wes." Like, I'm pretty explicit as to where it's at. And I literally left that guy the 1 star or half a star or whatever the minimum was I could do because I'm like, "This is fucked up." It's if I say where I want it at, I opt out of the contactless delivery because I want to make sure the food gets there. And, to get that service, I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I wish I could have taken back the tip because I would have.
I agree with that. DoorDash and I do not see eye to eye on anything anymore. It's one of the worst things. I mean, when it came out, it was great. It gives people a chance to make extra money and stuff like that. But the people doing DoorDash don't care enough about their job, apparently, because I have never had good service with DoorDash in my town anyway. I mean, maybe one out of a hundred times that my food gets delivered that it shows up still hot because what they do is like the one time I had to send a nasty gram to corporate is they picked up my food and it was supposed to be delivered and they gave me a time. 30 minutes later, they showed up because they had to sit in KFC drive through to get somebody else's order. So they screwed my order over to take care of somebody else, which I thought was horseshit. And I told the company about it. But company doesn't care. DoorDash don't care. I'm sure Grubhub is similar. They make so much money on it that do they really care about one bad service? I don't think they do.
Well, and that's the thing right there is that's why I believe in ranking the individual servers because corporate will get after the servers because they think that's so Grubhub can only do so much because, right, they're literally at the beck and call of the people that have the app that picks shit up. And can I just say how great would it have been in 2004 and 3 to have Grubhub when we would get back from to the apartment or wake up the next morning and be completely freaking throw up still hungover and just been able to order our BK taco and not had to suffer through the drive ourselves to go get those.
Well, we did kinda have a little bit of Grubhub. We
Yeah,
had a Sean
that's
and
right.
we had a Scoop. We
Yep.
had a Scoop and Sean. So, I mean,
So
I utilized the Scoop Hub quite a bit there for a while. As long as you bought him his lunch, he would bring you your lunch. So, I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it. And at one point, I think that's what he was doing for a living was delivering everybody's food in town. So, it's like we had our own little, DoorDash before DoorDash even happened.
that's right.
But
But so,
the morning taco runs, DoorDash apparently didn't work in Newton, and we had to go get the tacos at 11 o'clock in the morning on our own because our delivery
yeah.
service didn't get up till 3. Yeah. We would have been a hell of a lot more broke if DoorDash and Grubhub and stuff like that existed when we were going to the bar. I don't know how anybody has any money.
Yeah.
It was bad enough when those door-to-door sales people would show up, we'd end up with 7 magazine subscriptions.
Yeah, I'm sure you're probably still receiving your surfing magazine and that you ordered 20 years ago because in middle of
No,
Iowa we
no,
need is
it was a
magazines
year
on
long.
surfing
Yeah.
only a year long. I thought maybe that nice young lady talked you into the lifetime subscription of surfing magazine.
No, no lifetime subscription, she just drank all of our beer.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, that tends to happen. At least I wasn't, unchaperoned that day, and otherwise, I probably would've bought a hell of a lot more stuff, and you wouldn't have bought any.
That's right.
We did say that we were gonna keep them all day, so and we did.
Yeah,
I
they
do believe that they got we went and got them tacos too.
very well
We
might have.
actually fed them. I think we did. I think that was probably their best day ever selling magazines. They only had to go to one place to hit their quota.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, shit. So, I don't know how much of the last episode's TikToks and YouTubes and if you got a chance to watch the episode or not yet, but speaking of throwbacks to the old days, we got on the, 90s nostalgia last week, and Jerry brought up, a restaurant that he thinks that he can save by bringing back something from the 90s. The old Pizza Hut sit-down buffet style restaurants. Back, when you actually went in and he said you gotta walk through the smoking section to get to the non-smoking section, and we had the red plastic cups, the arcade games everywhere, and they actually had the lunch buffet, and they weren't ghost kitchens, basically, like they are now. What
They weren't.
restaurant would you like to bring back from the 90s that you think could actually make a run of it now?
Well, I mean, and I'll be honest, like with Pizza Hut specifically talking about that, the one up in Harlan still has the buffet. It has a new age video game, which is, where it has like 100 video games in the one console. Um, so they're still kind of out there, and God, they were great. As far as other 90s restaurants, I guess there was 2 I can kinda think of, and for all I know, they're still around because I don't live up there anymore. Up in Sioux City, they had a Sirloin Stockade, which was, again, a buffet.
Yeah,
Um, it was great.
haven't
Good
seen one of
food.
those in years.
Yeah, it was really good food. You get steaks. It was spectacular. And along the same lines was the Great America Steakhouse or United States Steakhouse or whatever the hell it was. It was another buffet where they would do steaks, and you could go up and get your salad bar and your steak and all that. They were great. Good food. Gotta love the buffets. And then I don't know, the buffets have really kind of gone downhill. Um,
Well, you said on one episode why you think they went downhills, just basically because the level of the clientele going in there doesn't make it comfortable for most families anymore.
I would agree with
Unless
that.
it's like,
Yes.
the I've been to like the Golden Corral and stuff like that. That seems to be okay still. I mean,
And
it's a little bit more pricey
I think it always depends
than
on
it's
the
worth,
win
I
and
think,
where
most of the time.
also. I think it always depends on the
Yeah.
win and where also. Like sometimes, like the
Like
we'll say,
Casey's.
always shit.
But go ahead, what were you saying?
In like Golden Corral, like the Sunday late morning, afternoon after church ones always seems to be the best because I think it's when they're busiest and that. Some weeknights, sketch. It's sketch at best.
Well, one of the restaurants that still holds on to the buffet really, really tight, Chinese food. Chinese food buffets are
We
pretty
we
much
got
everywhere, but their quality is pretty damn good.
we got one that we occasionally go to down in Bellevue, and it's fantastic. It's amazing. I love it. This one is like I don't want to say it's super fancy for a Chinese buffet, but it even has the Mongolian grill, like the hoo hots, where you can like make your own combination and have them grill it up for you. Like it's pretty fantastic. Lunchtime is cheap. Supper obviously more expensive, but they can get more for supper because who the fuck wants to cook when they get done working all day? So
I cook about every night. Of course, I get done working at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so can't complain about having to hang out over a stove for another 30 minutes to cook a meal by the time the girlfriend gets home. So out of we went through some of the other stuff that was coming back and trending from the 90s in the last episode. And they're bringing back CDs and CD players because the new age kids like listening to CDs on shuffle, like the Walkman style of CD players again.
well, here's the
And
thing. Like I I don't know if I actually love the whole digital age, like it's kind of dumb. I kind of miss Blockbuster and just renting a movie. And, like it seems like to rent a movie on Amazon, it's like $5. And it's like, I just want to go down to fucking Blockbuster and spend you know, 99 cents on this movie that came out in 1992 that I want to show my kids. I don't want to have to spend $6 on it to rent it from Amazon and have my kids tell me I'm stupid. But how could I watch this when I was a kid?
so they even said that, video rentals were coming back, that at least like the red box style of video rentals coming back, if not the actual go in the store with the nostalgic, walk around and look at the covers and stuff, that they actually are starting to like doing that again instead of doom scrolling on Netflix trying to find something that looks good just by a quick little picture. They like
Well,
actually
I
putting their hands on things.
I get that 1,000%. Like Netflix is kind of overwhelming sometimes. Like, and let's be honest, I mean, it feels like to me the whole streaming service thing has gone fucking insanely crazy. Like it used to be when this first whole thing happened, people cut the cord from cable because cable got so goddamn expensive. You could do online streaming for cheaper. Now you have to have 19 streaming services in order to watch anything you really like because everybody does their own stuff and it's all awesome. Don't get me wrong, I'm just getting into Landman now. Um, it's only on Paramount, so you got to have the Paramount. Netflix has its certain TV shows that you can't find anywhere else, and now there's even live football on Netflix and Peacock and they've killed that industry. They've killed cable because you got to have these other options now in order to watch the stuff you actually want. Um I got YouTube TV because it's got the Sunday ticket, but other than sports, there's not much we watch live anymore because who wants to do that?
Yeah, you gotta have, like, 90 subscriptions to even actually put together a plan to have a night of watching TV, and that starts racking back right back up to the cable bill prices, and then you gotta have the internet to do the streaming on top of that, so you gotta add that into the factor, so you're looking at 60, $70 a month just to keep your TV going, and then if you want a sports package, there's another 50 bucks, so you're right back up to paying cable fees.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things that I don't know. Once again, everybody's finding their way to their buck, right? That's And that used to be the cool thing is, Netflix originally was just DVDs, and then they started doing the movie streaming, and there was no commercials. Now you have to pay for the no commercial subscriptions. Oh, hey, we're going to sell you commercials unless you want to pay more, and then you can opt out. I'm tired of working for everybody else's fucking money. And so, like, I don't know. I guess I still play, you know, I'm still on PlayStation Plus, I think, because I still play just, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare Remastered from 2006. But other than that, yeah, other than that, I'm about tired of it all.
I get it. If you could go back to the 90s, and I asked Jerry the same thing, what's one thing that we used to have in the 90s, not food related, just some gadget or toy or something that you would like to bring back for the younger generation that's running around now?
Wow, that's a pretty great question. So, like, I guess I was kind of a dork and was mostly sports themed back then, thinking of high school.
So
So I
still
get
like
I
now. Got it.
so so I guess I would start with the baseball bats that we had back then. They were hot. They're not this BB core bullshit. We had the -5 bats, so you could have a 33-28, so you could swing the shit out of it, and those things fucking rocket launchers.
So
I get.
you wanna smack kids with baseball bats. Got it.
Well, I don't know about smacking kids with baseball bats, but I think it'd be fun to see some of these kids today swing bats like what we had, because like I look at my stats and I look at some of the other kids that are around today, and it's like, I admit our bats were fucking hot. Like I hit some fist missiles back in the day. Um, I guess the other thing I'd like to bring back, go in sports, would be golf. Let's go ahead and bring back the Ultra 110 compression golf balls. Those things, they were like hitting stones. If you know, you know.
Yeah, they'd probably break a lot of shafts nowadays hitting the golf balls we used to play with. I don't think they're designed to hold up to hitting a boulder that's sitting on top of the ground.
Well, and I know I need to get mine regripped, but I still play my tailor-made bubble shaft. You saw it, this year with the Mushman Memorial Montezuma Golf Tournament. It came out in 1995 or 1996, and I still love it. It's doesn't I don't look down and see, like, like, remember when we were kids, the wiffle golf, and it
Yeah, the
was
big
like,
ass heads.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, it was about the size of a I don't know, a paper towel roll. That's what the new drivers look like. Mine, mine, it's nothing like that. And I look at it and I think, yeah, I can hit this motherfucker. I mean, and at the time when it came out 30 years ago, it was huge, right? It was massive. It was like, oh my God, this is awesome. How can you hit this? And now I look at it, I'm like, other people have these little tiny things, and these huge things, and mine just looks like a fucking five wood.
Yeah, that's basically
But
what you're hitting anymore.
but I can still hit the fuck out of it. So you know what? Fuck your technology.
I can hit the fuck out of it too. It goes just as far as yours if you track the entire circle that it goes in.
Yeah.
Like, I can probably hit a golf ball and make it land behind me if I put my feet right anymore.
So speaking of golf, ESPN coming back out with the, I don't know, the golf simulator league or whatever the hell it's called. Did you watch any of that last year?
I did not. I haven't watched golf in many years. Any kind.
So I think it's a lot of fun because it's more of like a fun league. To see Tiger Woods and his persona having fun as someone who's only 4 years younger than him or 3 years younger than him is great. He just turned 50. So now Tiger can go play on the senior tour. He can ride the golf carts. I think the senior tour is going to be probably better than the PGA tour this year because Tiger will be able to play and not have to walk 72 holes a weekend anymore. I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward actually more to the senior PGA tour now than the PGA tour. I don't really care for the PGA tour
So was
playoff anyways. I think it's kind of dumb.
No, you'll have to explain that 'cause I have no idea what you're talking about in the playoff. Since for
So
golf, I didn't know they had a playoff in golf.
yeah, it's kind of like the NASCAR playoff where I think it's the top 30 like make the playoff. And like every week they do a cut until finally they have the FedEx champ. And I think it's over like 5 weeks. But I don't know. I don't like it. I rather just have the four fucking majors and let's go on. I think they've readjusted all the timing on the majors to make up for this golf playoff. I don't know. I'm not really a fan. I don't like it.
Well, it's the same thing that they're doing in college sports. I mean, they put a playoff in there too. It's not, just ranking systems like it used to be because they beat certain teams. I'm sure golf's about the same way where,
Well, I don't know. Like, so the football playoff I think is different. I mean, basketball has always had I shouldn't say always, but the 64 teams, the Sweet 16, all that shit. Like football was different, but it's now got the playoffs. I mean, the football's ruined. It's been destroyed. I can't hardly watch college football anymore, but it's terrible. It's really, really bad. But it's one of those things that they've ruined college football. They really have. I but going back to the golf playoffs, I don't like it. But I'm really excited for the senior PGA Tour. I'm excited to see Tiger again. I'm excited. It's fun to see his personality when he's fun. He's one of those guys I would love to go play around with Tiger and have a couple ice cold soda pops, and just to hear some of his stories, I think would be fantastic. It, let's
well,
be
he's like
honest.
the Jack Nicholson of our day.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. So did Tiger have his issues? Of course. Is he a perfect person? No. But to be able to spend a round of golf with that guy, can you imagine just riding around in a cart and playing a round of golf with Tiger Woods and just being able to talk? It reminds me of when I'm going back to, I don't know, 2002 maybe, the Iowa Cubs signed Rod Beck, who, at the time, he had, if I remember right, he had won a World Series with San Francisco and he kind of lost it. And literally he went and signed he signed a contract with the Cubs. They sent him to Iowa and he was living in an RV in like the parking lot of the stadium. And it was really cool because he had this like martini light in his window. And if the light was on, you were free to come in and drink and talk baseball. And he was awesome. He was fun to go in and talk shop with Rod Beck was amazing, especially as like a 22-year-old kid, right? 23-year-old. Like this was a kid I grew up watching. It was awesome. And I think that would be a lot like playing around a golf with Tiger Woods now. Because even though he's only a few years older than me, and here's the other thing. Can we get Tiger Woods PGA Tour golf back again? Like, I'm okay with this 2K, whatever the hell golf is. And I know Tiger's on it, but it's not near as good as Tiger Woods like '06. That game was the bomb. It was the best. It was the best.
Yeah,
No game has ever been better than Tiger Woods '06.
remember when we got the Mad Cats controller for that game? That way we could always hit the super power shot.
Yeah.
That was funnier than shit. So you're bringing back PGA golf and new toys from the 90s.
Yeah.
So you got into a little bit of the playoff talk. So why don't you break down the NFL playoff and who we got in there and
Well,
what
I
games
mean,
actually matter today?
there's only two games that matter today. Obviously, this won't be broadcast or sent out till Tuesday, so we'll know the results by the time we hear this. So this is one man's take. So the two games that matter at this point on Sunday, the 1 o'clock game of all games that matter is Atlanta at fucking at New Orleans or vice versa. Atlanta and New Orleans are playing, and it matters because if Atlanta wins, then Carolina goes to the playoffs to get beat by probably San Francisco or the Rams. And if New Orleans wins, that means Tampa Bay will host either San Francisco or the Rams. Uh, as someone who is admittedly a Baker Mayfield fan, go Saints. Because I don't know. I Baker got hurt, and then it's amazing what happens when a quarterback hurts a shoulder. I don't care what shoulder it is. It wasn't even his throwing shoulder. When a quarterback gets an upper extremity injury, it affects him. and I think that hurt the Rams. They had a lot of injuries, or not the Rams. It hurt the Bucks. They had a lot of injuries, like a lot of teams do. But go Baker. God, I hope get into the playoffs. I hope nothing but good things for Baker Mayfield because he's maybe my favorite.
The Saints are a plus 154 underdog in this game, so they better put something together. So is
Yeah, and Tyler Shuck is playing pretty fucking decent for them. I think we're going to look back at this draft and realize that maybe NFL teams were too hard on quarterbacks this year. I mean, I know Cam Ward went in the first, Jackson Dart went in the first, but if you really look back, you got Tyler Shuck win in the seventh, Ewers win the seventh. The guy who went to Ohio State that Pittsburgh drafted went in the seventh. There was some quality quarterbacks that went very late in the draft. And I think there's a lot of potential down there for these guys to maybe go up. But I just don't think the NFL knew how to evaluate them because of the fact that they kept, all the different school changes and all that. I don't think the NFL knew how to evaluate it. So they're just like, we'll throw our hands up and we'll get to them later. We'll get what we know first.
Yeah, I can't believe Ewers went all the way in the seventh. I mean, somebody that's got that kind of pedigree coming out of college, there's no way he was a steal in the seventh round. I mean, he's
Well,
gonna be
when
he's
when
gonna
he
be good.
graduated high school, he was the number one recruit in the nation. Like he was thought to be the perfect recruit, right? Um, like I said, I think people just don't know how to dissect the new era with the quarterbacks with the NIL and the open transfer portal. I think they don't know what to do. They don't know how to evaluate them. So, like I said, I think they're just kind of throwing them to the side and say, "Yeah, we'll get one when we can get one." But we know what we're looking at when we look at this guard. We know what we're looking at when we see this linebacker.
Yeah, and that's been it's normally that the quarterbacks are the ones that are cut and dry coming out, and then you're picking up on, these all-star linebackers and receivers, and you steal a lineman and something like that in the lower rounds. It's never been the quarterbacks before that you can hit on in the seventh round. Those guys usually don't stand a chance at all. But now, like you said, the quarterbacks are the ones that hit the bottom of the totem pole for once, which was rather surprising. Now there's a few of them that dropped way down there. That a lot of it was because of how they interviewed, and it wasn't because of their play. But the ones that could play should have been picked up earlier. I agree with that.
So then, of course, the other game that still matters when you're listening to this on Tuesday is the Sunday night game between the Baltimore Rats and the Pittsburgh Squealers. This is kind of like, I don't know. What's the two worst things in the world?
the two, yeah, there's a lot of things that are very bad in the world that I'm not going to bring up on the Frosty Dingy podcast.
Yeah. Imagine the two worst things in the world, and they're playing for the right to go on. And God, I can't stand either. I mean, I respect Schittsburg because they were the only team in the NFL that voted against the Browns moving to Baltimore. But at the same time, Schittsburg's got Rodgers, and I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. I think I think he's a bad person. You know what I mean? I just think he's probably a giant piece of shit in real life. And that's
And why do you think that?
because he just acts like he's a giant piece of shit.
That's
You
the
know,
breakdown on why
yeah,
Rodgers is a piece of shit is because you think he's a piece of shit. Got it.
because I think he's a piece of shit because he acts like he's a piece of shit. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a fucking duck, right?
That
Um,
could be a chicken. You never know.
yeah. So I don't know. I like nothing would make me happier than to see Aaron Rodgers miss the playoffs in his final year. But that means Baltimore's got to go too. I guess, yeah. Either way, I don't like either of these teams. Uh, I guess I hope it ends in a tie, and then it goes to some
I
crazy ass. God, Yes, I want a tie and let it come down to like the ninth tiebreaker. That would be amazing. That would make my weekend. If the game tonight ends in a tie, if the game tonight ends in a tie, and they the whole time they've been like winning in Sunday Night Football, and it ends in like a 7-7 tie. I want you're getting on right now. Who goes to the playoffs if it ends in a tie?
I'm looking.
This would be amazing. This would make that. I can't wait for this. This is going to be great.
If the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers tie in their Week 18 matchup, the Steelers clinch the AFC North Division title.
Okay, so at would they are they 8? Are the Steelers 9-7 right now?
Not sure. I gotta look really quick.
Are they 9-7 or 8-8?
I think they're 8-8, but I'm not. I'm looking really quick. They're 9-7.
Okay, well that's disappointing. So I mean, we're
The
all
Ravens are 8-8.
okay. All right, so yeah, that makes sense. If they tie, then yeah. So let's be honest. That's the Steelers can play like it's English football, and they only have to play for the tie. They don't have to win the game to be in. They can tie. Pittsburgh or Baltimore has to play for the win. So Pittsburgh can do what they like best, and that's make out with their sister and play for the tie.
Oh, love your take on that. So
Um,
here's another one. What key teams have been eliminated from the playoffs that you think should have had a better run at it?
well, it's funny. I can't remember what the exact number is, but there's always like 5 teams every year from the playoffs that don't make it to next year. I couldn't tell you the last time that the two number one teams, neither one of them made it to the playoffs. But I think that tells you where football's at right now, where it's, you know, I think so. Once again, I think maybe the NFL has overemphasized the quarterback position as far as the percentage of pay goes. Um, you look, you just look at the contracts they've given out. The Bengals and Joe Burrow's wanted to give back money, but he can't because it's not allowed to make his team better, right? Um, the quarterback position is like 30 to 40% of your salary cap, but it's only one of 53. I think they've overemphasized paying the quarterbacks, and I think that's hurt the NFL. You can't afford to have some of these mid-tier people anymore because you're paying too much for the quarterbacks. Um, I think that's part of the problem with the offensive lines these days is there's not the mid-tier offensive linemen running around the way there used to be. You have your top-end starters, and you got guys that are undrafted free agents because that's what you can afford because you're paying $72 million to the tape tickler on Cleveland. It's that's I think, and maybe that's why some of these quarterbacks got drafted so late this year because no one knows what to do with the quarterbacks anymore. Like everybody thought Mahomes, fuck Chris Collinsworth can't say his name without having a fucking on-air ejaculation, and and it's did you see that on Sunday Night Football last weekend where Brock Purdy
I
made
did
that
not.
play? Brock Purdy makes this play, and Chris Collinsworth is like, "That was Mahomes like." You know, if Chris Collinsworth could stop playing with his asshole when he talks about Mahomes, that would be great.
That's some funny shit. No, I didn't get to watch any NFL last week. I was doing stuff and things, but I did
So
watch a little
yeah,
bit of last night, and I thought Tampa Bay was going to blow out the Panthers at the beginning, and then it came down to a 16-14 win or something like that.
yeah, the rain hurt weather. That was some rough weather down there in Tampa. And then the Seahawks looked fucking really strong last night. I think people kind of underestimated the Seahawks. I don't know why. Um, but I think there's a lot of people underestimating who the Seahawks are, and that game, it could have been better, but the kicker had a completely off night. Uh, Hopefully he figures that out. I'd say, but he missed what 2 or 3 field goals, which for him is, I mean, he made 18 in a row before that, and to miss 2 of the 3 or 2 of the 4 he had last night was strange. Um, but of all nights to have it, You got the win anyways. You get to walk away. Now you got 2 weeks to figure it out. So,
Well, neither one of the quarterbacks had a blowout game either. I mean, neither one of them hit 200 yards passing.
well,
I
and I
mean,
think that was,
Darnold was close. He was too short, but
I think that's a more important stat for the Niners than it is for the Seahawks in this instance, because the Seahawks got the lead and they're able to run the ball and they didn't need to press. They didn't need to throw the ball as much because their running game was strong. So I think it's one of those things that I'd say that's more of a damning stat on Brock Purdy than it is Sam Darnold in this case. Because if it's not a close game and you're not behind and you got a favorable lead for most of the game, you don't have to throw the ball around. So, yeah, like I said,
well,
I
they
think
had
that's more of a
one pass attempt difference between the two quarterbacks. They both had 26, 27 attempts. It's just Darnold hit 20 of his and Purdy hit 19 for 127 yards instead of 198 yards.
and I think
The distance that the completions were probably had a hand.
I think that has more to say about the defenses too. I think we all knew San Francisco's defense wasn't as good. Obviously, they've had some major injuries with Fred Warner and Bosa and shit like that. But Seattle's defense is fucking stout. And I think that has as much to do with it as anything else.
So who do you see that's already clinched the playoffs and who could possibly get in? Who do you think wins it this year? Who are you putting your bank on right now?
I guess I will take the NFC West against the field. I know that gives me 3 teams of the 14, which gives me the best odds. But the NFC West, I think, is just so goddamn good. Um, they're they're just good teams. I don't know if I have belief in any of the AFC teams. I saw the stat last night. Denver's 11-2 in one score games, which is great, but that's not sustainable. And that's one of those things that usually that's kind of the stat you can look at from the year before when you're doing your preseason hype and saying, hey, where's this team at? You know, Kansas City was one of those teams last year that they had a lot of one score wins. And now where are they at? Not in the fucking playoffs, I can tell you that much. Denver's 11-2 this year. Fuck, I hate Denver. I admit that wholeheartedly. I cannot stand the Broncos. I hope Sean Payton falls and breaks his ankle getting out of the shower today. But I don't know if it's a sustainable attribute to continue to win games by one score. And of all things, it's a fun situation with this uh number one seed in the AFC. So if Denver wins, they get the number one seed. If Denver loses and New England wins, New England gets the number one seed. If Denver and New England lose and Jacksonville wins, Jacksonville gets the number one seed. If they all lose, you know, that's best for everybody, but then the stupid fucking Broncos get the number one seed yet. And fuck them.
You like Broncos about as much as you like the Ravens, huh?
I don't even know if I like the Broncos as much as I like the Ravens. Or yeah. I mean, I really hate Denver. I really do. The orange uniforms are fucking fire. And speaking of uniforms, San Francisco's uniforms last night, I didn't care for the pants, but the tops and the fucking helmets were fucking fire. They were great. I don't know who designed those, but they were fucking spectacular.
I did not get to see them. I'm gonna have to look at that really quick. See what you're talking about.
So the Niners were wearing a black. The uniforms had, of course, they're red, but then the numbers were outlined in gold. And the helmets, the San Francisco helmets, were black, and they had a gold face mask. And they were fire.
Yep.
They were fucking
God,
awesome. Props to whoever
they had
designed
their
those.
blackout jerseys on, huh?
Yeah, they who you know, like I said, I didn't love the pants. I felt like something like maybe I don't know what you do better for the pants. I'm not a fucking a design person for clothes. But the tops and the helmets were fucking awesome. The pants just left a little bit more to be desired. I don't know what you'd had to do, but yeah, they were awesome. They were great.
So, kind of sounds like you need to be on Project Runway for the NFL right now. Just saying.
Yeah,
Getting in there with the
you know,
tops and the hats and
I tell you what, I couldn't tell you how to make things better, but I could tell you if it's fucking I could tell you if it's good or not, which, for the NFL, that's
You
really all
just
you
want to
need
be
to
the
know.
judge. I got it.
Yeah. Oh, this is terrible. These are fucking shit. And I know this is going to be unpopular opinion. Popular opinion coming up. I'm kind of over the Chargers powder blue. I liked it more when we were kids and they wore like the dark navy blue and then would occasionally break out the powder blues. I think it felt special then. And now the powder blue is the base and it's the other way around. And I'm like, I'm kind of over it. Kind of over the powder blue for fucking
You like
Chargers.
the old Junior Seau version.
Yes. Yes. They were wearing those the other day. I'm like, fuck yeah, these still look sharp.
What about
Probably
the old
unpopular opinion.
Steelers Bumblebees?
I don't think there's anything the Steelers could do well. And those uniforms prove it.
They couldn't even get the prison stripes right. They painted them yellow.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking Schittsburg.
So just throwing it out there, what wild card team are you keeping your eye on in the playoffs?
Well, obviously, like I've already called it, the NFC West. So San Francisco and the Rams, both of them have the potential to do big things. And the AFC, I don't think there's a wild card team. I mean, that excites me. Buffalo maybe, but they got to go on the road. They're not going to be able to play at home, um, which is going to make it tough.
I'm hoping the Texans actually show up in the playoffs a little bit this time. I think that'd be
Their
a
defense,
good team to
their
get behind to make a run.
their defense is spectacular. I will give them that. Their defense is fucking tough. Um, but yeah,
Sorry, had something in my throat for a minute.
you had the white monster in there deep.
So yeah, I had to send the white monster in there to kill whatever else was in there. Every time you yawn, ghost sticks its penis in your mouth. I'm just saying. I think he got a little bit down in there and scratched her up this morning when I was yawning. I don't know.
All right.
So anything else you got on the games that are going on today? How do you think your boy's gonna do? He gonna go out there and light it up again?
I hope so. I think he's improving, which is what you want to see. All the talk that we previously had, oh, he takes all these big losses. He's really cut those down. Um, he's improving, and that's what you want to see. And so I hope this isn't Stefanski's last game. I think he's a good coach. I think if we make the mistake of firing Stefanski, he's probably going to become the next Belichick, where he'll win like 6 Super Bowls and will look stupid. Um, but
Oh, he's not gonna
I
end up with the 24-year-old girlfriend?
well, maybe yet. I honestly sounds miserable at the same time. But yeah, I hope Stefanski lasts because I think he's a good coach. I don't know what the fuck the Browns are going to do next year. We have to keep Watson on the roster because he's got 2 years left. If we cut him, we'd have to pay him. It's got to be it'd be like $100 million against the cap. Um, I so fucking Watson is still going to be on the roster, and then we'll have this year's 2 rookies on the roster. Once again, I think this goes back to the NFL and specifically in this case, the Browns not knowing how to evaluate quarterbacks and how much of the salary cap should go to the quarterbacks because Watson's contract has ruined the fucking Browns. They were a quality team. They were on
He's
the verge
got
of playoffs. They made the playoffs.
36 million on it this year.
Right, but I'm talking next year. Like it'll destroy the it'll just I mean, I don't think the Browns can afford to release him. So it means that he's going to have to make the fucking roster unless I don't know, maybe something good happens and he like tears a knee out over the offseason. I don't think want seriously injure him, but just enough to keep him out all of next year again. So yeah, I don't
So
know.
we're back to the audio issues. So I figured we might as well let you wrap it up since I can't hear you anyway. So give me your final thoughts on the NFL and go ahead and take us out of this one.
NFL's the greatest sport in the world. I love it. Kobe's laughing because he can't hear me and he doesn't know that I'm about to say he loves taking the white monster.
Yeah, I can hear the white
Oh,
monster
damn it,
part.
you
It
caught
cut in
that.
right before that. I'm just saying, just for the white monster, it came back. And I didn't
That's
hear
right.
anything else you said, but I like taking down the white monster.
Yeah.
I got it.
Damn
Thanks
it.
for that.
I was hoping to leave you that. I was hoping you'd hear that when you were cutting things up today. I thought that would have been good. But other than that, yeah, no, I've enjoyed
And
it. It was
magically, you're
good.
back now.
That makes sense. So yeah, I think it was a fun NFL season. I don't love the fact I don't I don't know. NFL has some things they can change to make it better, but there's nothing better than the NFL. So other than that, that's what I got.
All right. Well, glad to see you're back on the healthy horse, and got to get you back on here. So I will look forward to the next episode. We'll hit her up again next Sunday. How's that sound?
All right, sounds good, buddy.
All right. You have a good day, man. I will catch you next time.
Yep, KC Pizza still sucks.
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.
Well, I guess I think it should be Dr. Parker, but